In the bustling heart of Lagos, Nigeria, the city was alive with its endless chorus of honking cars, street vendors hawking their goods, and pedestrians rushing about their daily lives. Among them was Lydia, a 29-year-old fashion designer with dreams as vibrant as the colorful fabrics she worked with every day. Lydia had always been full of life, her laughter a melody that lifted the spirits of those around her. But recently, her glow had dimmed. Friends whispered among themselves about her sudden silence and absence from gatherings. The reason? A relationship that had become a prison of fear and self-doubt. Lydia had been dating Fred for 3 years. At first, Fred seemed perfect, charming, ambitious, and attentive. He swept her off her feet, promising her the world. But over time, the cracks began to show. Fred was controlling, dismissive of her feelings, and quick to anger over trivial matters. "I'm only doing this because I care about you," he would say after berating her for not answering his calls immediately. "If you listened to me, things wouldn't go wrong." Lydia believed him, convincing herself that his harsh words were out of love. She stopped attending her friends' birthday parties because Fred didn't approve of her friends. She changed her wardrobe because he thought her style was too loud. Slowly, she started losing herself, trapped in a cycle of trying to make him happy while her self-esteem crumbled. One evening, as the city lights twinkled outside her small apartment, Lydia sat on her couch scrolling through photos of her designs from years ago. She paused at one picture of herself, radiant and confident in a dress she had created for a client. "Where did this girl go?" she whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. The door slammed open, and Fred stormed in. "Lydia, why didn't you cook? What have you been doing all day?" he barked. Her heart raced. "I've been working on a new design." "Work? That's your excuse? You're useless," he snapped, his voice slicing through her like a knife. Something inside Lydia shifted that night. As she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, she thought, "This isn't love. This is fear." The next morning, Lydia visited her best friend, Juliet, at her boutique across town. Juliet had been one of the few friends who hadn't given up on her, always sending texts and checking in despite Lydia's silence. "Juliet, I think I'm ready to leave Fred," Lydia said, her voice trembling. Juliet looked at her with a mix of relief and concern. "Lydia, I've been praying for you to realize your worth. But are you sure? Fred won't let you go easily." Lydia nodded. "I can't live like this anymore. But I'm scared." "You don't have to do it alone," Juliet said firmly. "You have me, and we'll take it one step at a time." The next few days were a whirlwind. Lydia began gathering her courage and her belongings, ready to move to a friend's place temporarily. But Fred sensed her withdrawal. His calls became incessant, his visits unannounced. One evening, he showed up at her door with flowers. "I know I've been harsh," he said, his voice soft, his eyes pleading. "But I love you, Lydia. Let's work things out." Her heart wavered. This was the Fred she had fallen for, the one who knew how to pull her back in just when she was ready to leave. That night, Lydia had a vivid dream. She was standing on a bridge overlooking a rushing river, holding a heavy suitcase. Fred appeared beside her, urging her to keep the suitcase, saying it was all she had. But as she clung to it, the weight grew unbearable. She let it go, watching it plunge into the water below. When she woke up, she felt lighter, as if the dream had given her clarity. The suitcase wasn't worth carrying anymore. The next morning, Lydia called Fred. Her voice was steady, though her hands shook. "Fred, I can't do this anymore. I'm leaving. I need to find myself again." The silence on the other end was deafening. Then came the rage. "You'll regret this, Lydia. No one will love you like I do." But this time, his words didn't hold power over her. She hung up, blocking his number. Over the weeks that followed, Lydia began to rediscover herself. She poured her emotions into her designs, creating pieces that told stories of freedom and resilience. She started therapy, learned to set boundaries, and rekindled her friendships. One day, as she stood at her first solo fashion show, watching models walk the runway in her creations, she felt an overwhelming sense of pride. She had let go of the fear, the toxicity, and the lies she had once believed. Lydia's story is a reminder that no one deserves to live in fear, especially in the name of love. If you're feeling trapped in a toxic relationship, remember, your happiness and peace are worth fighting for. Now, we'd love to hear from you. Have you ever had to let go of something or someone toxic in your life? What helped you find the courage to move on? Let us know in the comments section. And don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who might need to hear Lydia's story, and subscribe for more inspirational tales that heal and empower.